Hi, it's Shannon here from houseimprovements.com, and I'm continuing on today with the deck build out here at the cabin, and we're on the second video. Basically, we've got this long deck that's going to run the whole entire length of the back of the cabin facing the lake, and we've got these large 8x8 posts. So these posts are holding up the roof out here, so they're structurally supporting this end of the roof. But what we're going to also do is integrate the rest of the 8x8 posts in between here to support the deck. So to do that, we're notching these 8x8s to accept a flush beam that'll be a double 2x12 beam. And it's going to sit in here 3 inches into the posts, including these corner posts. I've got to cut them too, and run right across the whole entire front of the cabin here. So to do that, I'm standing the posts on the concrete bases. So we've got piles drilled here. I think they're 12 or 16 feet deep, 12-inch piles. I had the contractor shoot them all in level, which actually they did a really good job. It's very, very close, which made my job doing this much easier. So I mounted the bases. Depending on your posts, you're going to have different styles of bases you need to use. So all of my bases are like this. They're mounted down into the concrete with an 8-inch, half-inch anchor hammered in. And then they've got this base in there that keeps the end of the pole up out of any moisture. This side here will bend up to create a whole pocket, and the post basically sits in there. Now my posts were actually 8x8, which I didn't think they would be, but the brackets themselves, they're made to actually accept a 7¼ inch bottom of the pole. So I had to do some notching all the way around the post. Actually, here's one here. So I just ran a saw in a couple inches up, 3/8 deep or whatever I needed to cut off all the way around. And then I ran another blade in this direction and peeled that out. And then I will treat all those areas that are cut, of course, with a pressure treating solution so that we don't get any rot. Okay, so I've notched the bottoms of the poles, and I'm now to the point where I'm cutting this big notch in these center posts. And I've got the next post sitting here. How I mark these out, I've got a laser down on that far pole set at the right elevation for the top of the beam. And so I was standing the posts in their base, mark that laser line, and then lay the post down and make the cuts. So you're not going to see any of my marks on here because of the lighting. But what I've got is I've got my mark here from my laser line. All my 2x12s are measuring 11 1/8. So then I've measured down 11 1/8, and I'll make a cut down here. Now I need to make this big notch 3 inches deep. None of the saws that I have will cut 3 inches deep. Most of you DIYers aren't going to have a 10-inch circular saw either. So I'm showing you what to do with the 7.5-inch circular saw. So I'm going to make my first 2 cuts, which are across the face of the post. So if the post is standing up over here, they're the notches that are out the front like I showed you on the other one. So I'm just going to make those notches right after I find my safety glasses. Okay, here's the top mark, so I'll make that cut. I'm using the square as a guide, holding it steady, guiding the saw along here. And I'm just simply making the cut as deep as my saw will cut. Okay, bottom cut. I just want to double check whether I'm cutting the line or leaving the line. And I am cutting the line the way I have it marked. Okay, so I've rolled the timber over, and you can see my 2 cuts that I just made. Now I want to make a cut 3 inches back, so I'm going to measure that and mark it, and I'll have to plunge cut in and cut as deep as I can from both sides with my circular saw again. Those off so I can see. Everybody's been asking about these dry pick or pick a pencil, or I don't know what the heck they're called. Does it say on here? Yeah, pick a dry. Everybody's been asking in these last few videos that they see me using this pencil, what it is or where they can get it. So we're going to put a link in the video just under, or in the description under the video. So look for that link. I like the pencil. It's basically like a really large mechanical pencil, and they even have a carpenter style pencil with a carpenter style lead, if that makes sense. I like this one instead. Okay, so 3 inches. 3 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to make a plunge cut in there to start this. I do have a video on plunge cutting with different saws, so that might be kind of handy for you to watch, because you're not going to see really good detail what I'm doing here. I am going to lower this though, because it's just a little too high to be comfortable to cut. These are friggin' heavy. Okay, so I'm going to just plunge cut in and do as much of this cut as I can. I don't want to overcut it past my cuts that I made this way, but I'm going to try to get as much cut as I can out of this. Okay, so that's one side. Oh, now that I did this, I can't roll it as easy. Okay, so same thing here. Okay, so I've got those 3 cuts really, 4 cuts I guess. But now obviously none of them join up because my saw doesn't cut deep enough. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use the recip saw and finish this all up. I notice this one cut doesn't look super square, so I'm just going to give that another pass. That's better. So recip saw. First what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish these cuts here down to the right depth of 3 inches. And because we've made this cut already with the saw, that'll help us stay straight. And I'm using a fairly rigid long blade in the recip, so that'll all help keep us as straight as we can. And again, I'm trying not to go past my other cut. Pretty close there. Okay, so we should be pretty good with that. Now if I roll it up, now my saw, when I made this cut and that cut down in the bottom, would have only cut down about, I think cuts 2.5 inches, and these are 8-inch. So I need to cut right through and join those two cuts I already made. So I'm going to plunge into there, try to cut as straight as I can until I pop out on the other side. So we'll give it a shot. Again, a plunge cut with a reciprocating saw. So I've got to be getting close to popping through if I lined up properly. Okay, I'm just going to roll this. Hopefully we came out in that cut we made. This is a real pain. Two different size sawhorses. Okay, so I actually came out a little bit inside. That's all right. Let's roll it over and cut back from the other side. That's better than going wider than what our original one was. Okay, so pretty decent there. So now I just need to follow along those two cuts and join everything up. Bit of farting around, but we'll get it. Okay, I must be really close there. Let's go back the other way. Okay, it's not looking too bad. Let's give you a look here. So you can see our cut. I've got a little bit of a lip here I've got to clean up, and a little bit of a lip over here to clean up as well. So we'll just likely use the recip saw to do that. Yeah, so we've got our 3-inch notch that our beam can go into, and we can set this into this post base, get it standing there, have a look. So these posts are heavy, so don't mind my grunting and complaining, but I'm going to get it standing up there hopefully by myself. Whew. Okay, hopefully it fits in the base. Beauty. Okay. Now they're big pieces of timber, so they kind of actually stand pretty decent on their own. I'm just double checking over here my mark with my laser. It's bang on. So this string line, I don't know if you noticed the string line here before. It's running from post to post, and that's just so I can tilt the poles in and out and get them plumb. I've already used a string line to straighten my bases out and bolt them down to the piles. But yeah, this is the start of getting these all notched out. And probably if you're good at with a chainsaw, you could probably just notch these out with the chainsaw. I don't have a chainsaw here today, so this is what I'm using and it works. So you can see I've already treated this cut. That cut is not treated that I just finished, obviously. So I've got to treat those and then get on to that third one. And then I've got the corner one to do down there. This end one that's under the roof. And then the end of the deck actually will come out an extra 3 feet to stairs over here. If we ever close this in with screen or whatever, we can set the barbecue outside of the screen. It's kind of the idea. So that's what this extra base is for here. So anyways, there's a lot more posts here to notch out and get ready. Once I get these all notched out, then we'll come back and you'll be able to see me putting the first layer of the 2-ply beam in there, and everything will start to make more sense. Okay, I'm back. I've got my posts all notched at this end of the deck, and we'll have a little closer look at that. So you've seen me notching these mid posts. This post here also needed to be notched. So there's going to be a double beam here. They're double 2x12. So there'll be an inner piece sitting in here, and I've got 3 inches of bearing. And then the second ply is going to come right out and across. So you can see I had to do some notching here. And again, I just made it work with a circular saw and recip saw. Same thing here. Got a bit of gap here. This actually has to lift a little bit, unfortunately, but it's just the way it is. I got a little bit low on my cut right here. To initially start out, I'm only going to install 1 ply. And the reason for that is once I have that ply up there, as I'm doing my joists, I can tack the joists, flush them to the top, and tack them with a nail until I get my hangers in place. And then when I'm done all that, I can put my second ply on, and that will cover up any nails or scars or anything like that that was done from doing that. If I was to double them up and say used longer nails, then you'd see all those nails on the outside, and I don't want to see that. What we are going to see on the very outside here is the head of a structural screw. So these are GRK structural screws, and these are good for into pressure treated, so that's not an issue. They are structural screws, so they're nice and strong, and these ones are 8 inches long, and our posts are 8 inches thick, so it should work out fine. If my point happens to stick through a little bit in my case, that's going to be in the framing of the deck anyways, so I'm not too concerned about it. So what I'm going to do, or how this is going to work, is my first ply, my first piece is going to span from there to the center of this post. First ply in the next chunk is going to pick up 3 posts actually, and it'll end on the 3rd post down there in the middle. It'll be like 15 feet long or something like that. And so on, whatever it takes to finish that last little bit. Then when I come to do my second ply is going to run right out flush out here to the outside of the post where this outside end of this joist is. And it'll get 4 of these structural screws right through this, both plies and into the post. And I want to actually hit this second ply back here. So I don't want to have the fasteners way out to the outside. I want to have them a little to the inside so I catch that second ply. And then on this one, the outer ply is going to be spanning from corner to second post. So I'm staggering my joints in the beam. And this post again will get 4 structural screws right through the outer ply, second ply, and into the beam there. So now I could do a double row, right, so that I'm screwing that back piece, but there's really no benefit in having these have to be through each one of those split pieces here. So I'm just going to put it in the middle. It'll go between the joint of those back ones, but this outer one is holding everything together with these screws. So as I do this, I'll be leveling the posts because they're just sitting there. I haven't even attached them at the bottom yet. So yeah, I'll get the posts all leveled up as I'm installing the first ply of this beam. I'm just going to tack that first ply in with a few nails. So any pieces, again, pressure treated, I've cut them. If they were cut, they've been treated with the coating. How close is this to plumb? Actually, that's standing pretty good. Whoop, this one just about came out on me. Okay, let's tack this end, because it's fitting in there nice. Okay, plumb this side up. Okay, that's sitting quite nicely. And also, you always want to put the, if these beams have any crown, these pieces at all, you want to put the crown up. These 2x12 16s are friggin' heavy. Stay. Okay, I'm gonna tack this one end. So, let's see if this one is gonna fit in or not. Before I go getting a bunch of things nailed, I'm just gonna make sure that this fits in here all right. Okay. Oh, what the heck. I thought I had cut this to length already. I guess I didn't. All right. Well. There. We'll call right there good. And we'll just cut that in place. Just take a little block of wood and knock off all those slivers. We'll treat that end. It may or may not be perfectly in the middle of that post. It really doesn't matter in the end, as long as I've got a minimum of 3 inch of bearing, or 3 inch of surface for this to sit on. That's what I need. Seeing as it's 8 inches thick total, the post, you know, I basically have an inch to play with. Okay, so I'm pretty liberal with this. So this is what I'm using. I don't know what's going to be available in your area. Cut and seal. Anyways, that's what I'm using. Let's see if this is gonna fit in there. Oh, it does. Good. Beauty. Double check this one so I can nail it. It's got to go over. Still got to go over some. There we go. Just need a little extra shove. Okay. So obviously I would just continue on. I still have to cut those posts down there, so I'm not going to go through that again in the video. You see me cut the post. I showed you that end post, what I did. And like I said, there's still going to be another layer on there once I get the joists in. Let's just go have a little closer look. Let's kind of start at this end so you can see what the cut looks like close up. Okay, you can see we're sitting down. On the screen it kind of looks like there's a gap there, but it's really is sitting down. It's just the rounded edge of the 2x12. Okay. Here's our joint. I'll throw a couple more nails on that afterwards, but got that all sitting there. Same thing here. This one needs an extra little nail just to tighten things up. And I haven't nailed this one at all yet. I need to get it up into place. So that one there, like I said, I've got to lift it up. You can see here, it's got to come up some, and I'd like to get something solid underneath there. So I'll probably cut a piece of this, like an 1/8 inch, to stick underneath there. It's not ideal, but other than maybe using a piece of metal or something, that's about the only other thing, and that's going to rust, and I'd have stains running down the post after a while. So this out here is more important because this is what's going to make up the beam and support the floor joists. Let's go have a little look inside. Okay. You can see I've got to push this back. It didn't quite tighten right up. Okay, so I want to install the second ply on the beam now. So that'll be the outer ply. I can do this first end here. And I'm going to be using those structural screws at the posts, and as well as rows of framing nails. 5 nails about every 16 inches or so. And all of that is getting covered up eventually with some composite decking fascia. If I was leaving this exposed, I would actually nail it from the back side just to have less fasteners and mess. But in this case, it will eventually be covered up. I'm just putting a little bit of adhesive back here. Okay, so this is my second ply here. And I'm going to lift it up and set it in there. I haven't checked it. Hopefully it fits in. The other one did. But you never know, this could be slightly different thickness. Get ourselves close. And yeah, it's going to be tight on this one right here. Oh boy, it's going to be really close. It's got to go a little bit to my right. So I better manipulate it now before I get it in there too tight. See if that's enough. Might need a bigger hammer. Oh, it's going. Gotta go a little further. I'm just trying to get it flush down to that side. Not that it has to be perfect because it's getting covered up, but it'd be nice if it looked good for now. Okay, so that's pretty nice. Get this in. That is a nice fit. I'm happy with that. I pre-marked out my spacings. Again, honestly, just from force of habit, but in my case, it really doesn't matter because nobody's going to see these once it's all done. But so I don't think you probably want to watch all this. These are long screws. It takes a lot of juice to get these all in, but I'll come back and show you what it looked like when I'm done. Okay, so I've got the second layer of my flush beam all installed. You can see my ends are all treated. There's my joint right on the middle of that post. You can see my rows of framing nails. There's one there, sticking everything all together. You can see I've got my joists in back there. The whole reason I left this second ply off was to work on my joists easier. And of course it spans over the joint. Remember, there was a joint behind here in the first set of beams, so that staggers over to there for the second ply. Don't want your joints together if you can help it. And then we've got this outside corner. Okay, so that's my video on installing a flush beam and notching it into the posts for support. Some people might say that notching that corner post down there, I took away too much of the integrity of the post, but it was actually spec'd to be 6x6 posts, and we went 8x8 because we thought the 8x8s would look more beefier. Plus we knew we were going to do all this notching, so there's still more than enough post left down there. Our joints are nice and tight, so that helps as well, and we should have no issues. So click the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, keep watching. We've got tons of videos out here at the cabin.